Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Jacob. To my left is
Bethany.
And to my right,
TJ.
And we are the All Hell Metal Podcast, bringing you music, news, discussions, album reviews, and sometimes even debates if we feel like it. So today, we're going to be talking about a Swedish heavy metal band named Sabaton and their album that came out in 2012, Carolus Rex.
But before we get into that, how is everybody feeling about this being our first episode that we've been looking forward to and being so excited about?
Well, I'm doing pretty good.
Are you, how are you feeling? Are you excited? Are you ready to get it out or what?
I'm excited, and I'm ready to just get it done and over with, like pulling off a Band-Aid. Just once it's out there, man.
Yeah, it's been a little, we've been excited, and then now that we're started, we're just nervous and feel like we're going to mess everything up. And also we had recording equipment ordered that was supposed to be here already, but because there has been bad weather in transit, it is late, and we might not even get that until February 8th, and this is going out on February 7th, so this is being recorded on Jacob's phone right now, so we apologize if there's any background noises or any, the audio just sounds like shit. We can't help it at this point. We are working on it. So there's that.
Yeah, that's fun. Especially because literally nothing has stuck. There's no ice or anything. They've just been like, screw these people. They don't need it.
Well, I do know that the equipment was supposed to be coming from Missouri, and a friend of mine is from Missouri, and she had told me that they had like 8 inches of snow, so that may be what was holding up that process. And they were expecting us to get ice and stuff like that here, but we haven't really gotten anything, so.
Nothing good comes out of Missouri. It should just be removed.
Jacob.
Sorry from anybody from Missouri.
Well, there goes all the Missouri listeners we could
if
possibly have.
If your state sounds like misery, it's a sign, man.
Well, but they do have St. Louis, so
yeah.
I would like to go to St. Louis. But anyway, lots of artists come out of there.
Yeah.
Nelly.
Yeah.
He's not metal at all, but Nelly.
He's there.
So, But, today we're going to be talking about Sabaton, and they are, as Jacob was saying, a heavy metal band that they are Swedish, correct?
Swedish.
The Swedish.
The Swedish is IKEA and meatballs.
Okay, so we've listened to the Carolus Rex, am I saying that correctly?
Close enough.
Okay, we've listened to that album, and we were actually supposed to see this band with Judas Priest in October here where we live.
Of last year.
Yes, of 2021. And that show ended up not happening basically because the guitarist, do you remember his name?
I do not.
I can't remember his name right offhand either, but they were performing at one of the shows. I can't even remember the name of the show.
Louder Than
Life, yeah.
In Kentucky.
Yeah, they were performing at that, and his aorta ruptured while he was playing a solo to Painkiller. And he even has said, watching back on the video, he can see the pain and anguish in his face. And he finished out that solo and made it to the hospital, luckily, and lived through everything, the surgery. And normally people don't recover from those. So that's pretty awesome. But that show is rescheduled for March here where we live. But it will not be Sabaton that is with them. So we're pretty bummed about that, especially Jacob, because this is one of Jacob's favorite bands, if not his favorite band. And
it's close.
Yeah, he is the all-knowing with the knowledge of Sabaton and who they are. So, also, before we get into it, remember you can follow us at Twitter at AHM Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at AHM Podcast. And on Facebook at All Hell Metal. We have an email address that is allhellmetalpodcast@gmail.com. Be sure to get in touch with us and let us know anything that you want to hear. You want us to talk about any songs, bands, albums that you're interested in that you want us to cover. And we will do that. We are going to be working on a website as well. I'm going to start that process probably later on this evening and work on it throughout the week. So hopefully next time you hear from us, we will have that up and running. Our shows will air every Monday, so be sure to look out for us every Monday. We are on Spotify definitely right now, and I am working on the Apple Music account. That is, taking some time, but it's coming. It's getting there. So, without further ado,
A lot of ado to now.
is there anything else that you guys have on your mind or anything before we jump into this?
Without further ado,
Yeah.
more ado.
Listen, I'm being like a regular YouTuber. Like, this is not YouTube, this is podcast, but, this will be on YouTube as well. I forgot to mention that. So, but of course we won't be doing video yet because, we're just not to that point yet. We're not ready for that. But anyway, it will be on YouTube, All Hell Metal. It will be the channel. It'll just be the audio version of this, so you'll have that. But yeah, just getting into my YouTube role here. So, is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything else that's happened that, music-wise or personally, or anything else that's going on that you just want to get out there and maybe get on a soapbox about?
Well, I don't know how recent this is, but apparently Machine Gun Kelly is doing punk rock now, and I don't know how to feel about that, because, he was doing rap, and now he's doing punk rock, and, he's not good at either.
Well, I haven't listened to much of Machine Gun Kelly myself. I have seen some stuff where he is doing the punk rock thing and heard a few little clips of his songs and where he was performing at an award show and, completely butchered his guitar solo. So, yeah. Steve Terryberry, is that his name?
Yep.
On YouTube, he was talking about that a lot, and he's a funny guy. You guys need to go check him out as well. Steve Terryberry on YouTube. He's a crackerjack for sure. But yeah, and MJK and Corey Taylor have some stuff going on, which has apparently been going on for a while, but and that's pretty heated. And I agree with Corey Taylor. You can't just jump from one genre of music to the next and see if you're going to make it. So, and that's basically what he's done.
As my friend so eloquently put it, MGK got dissed so hard by Eminem, he had to jump genres. Then he was going to get dissed by Corey Taylor and have to jump genres again. He's going to be a country singer next, man.
Yeah, and then, somebody from the country world will definitely jump in on that. What's his name? Neil Young has already jumped all over Joe Rogan, so maybe he'll jump all over MJK. Is Neil Young even MGK? Is Neil Young even country though?
Is he even young?
His own kind of
Yeah.
thing almost, I feel like.
Yeah, not saying anything bad about Neil Young or anything, but I always picture him as a country singer. I don't know why. Maybe it'll be him. Maybe it'll be somebody else from the country world. Maybe
Willie,
we'll get some.
counting on you, bud.
Yeah, maybe we'll get some Willie Nelson in there and be like, "Listen, bub, you need to sit down.
Just stop.
just go back to bed, kid."
Go back to Missouri. I don't even think you're from Missouri.
Yeah, but anyway, sorry everybody from Missouri. Jacob does not have hard feelings towards Missouri. He's got jokes.
A lot of Missouri jokes.
Yeah.
Like I said, misery.
And excuse our dog barking in the background.
They're crackheads.
That could possibly be the Ups man bringing our equipment. Who knows? We'll check on that later, because normally he doesn't bark unless something's going on. So, and we're all here, and we're not expecting anybody. So hopefully that's what that is.
About to be burglarized.
Yeah. But anyway, do you got anything on your mind, TJ, or?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, we've pretty much covered everything that probably he's been thinking about as well. So, I guess we can jump right in.
Oh, God, no.
To Sabaton and the Carolus Rex
There you go.
album. And, like I said, we just listened to this. It is an 11-song album. And they're pretty decent. They're a different band. They are heavy metal, but the message that they bring across is different than most metal bands. So let's let Jacob kind of give us a little rundown on Sabaton in general to start with.
Okay, Sabaton in general, right? I'm not going to do too much because, Jesus Christ, I could go for 2 hours. Sabaton was formed in 1999 in Falun, Sweden. Funnily enough, the bassist in the band, who's still in the band now, was said on an interview that he was either going to go into Sabaton or go into the military. And then he couldn't do what he wanted to do in the military, so he joined Sabaton.
Wow.
Yeah. He wanted to be a pilot or a submarine man. He couldn't do either. So anyway, skipping over that, Sabaton is a Swedish heavy metal band, but they're not really normal, I wouldn't say. They don't really make their own stories. They just kind of tell historical stories, you know, like they'll sing about World War I, World War II, that kind of stuff, and they'll tell heroes and stories about battles and stuff like that through their albums and their songs. And I think they're really good because I like history and I like metal, so put them together and you got something beautiful.
Yeah, if you are a big history buff, which I am, not so much battles and things like that, but if you are into that kind of thing or in history buffing in general, you know, Sabaton will probably be a band that you'll enjoy, especially if you do like metal music. They're not really like a screaming metal band at all. I mean, honestly, listening to the album, I kind of felt like their music would be played in like some kind of production, like some kind of onstage play about whatever they're singing about, if that makes any kind of sense. So
I could say, yeah. I could definitely.
A soundtrack.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a recreation.
Yeah,
of these wars and battles.
Yeah, exactly. And he has a really good voice, and their music is put together very well, and they have a lot of background with like chorus background with, you know, angelic voices. So
It really fits the whole religious thing well.
yeah, so they're not
religious and they're not political, but some songs on this album talk about, oh yeah, we're going to go murder these people because God.
Well, that's history.
That's
Yeah.
history. We're going to go murder these people because Jesus told us so, or Amma, or the gods of Asgard, whatever.
But in this sense, in this album, it is the God of Christianity. So
They're Catholic, the Swedes are.
yes. So, but anyway, what's this Carolus Rex? What is it talking about specifically?
Well, most of the songs are talking about the 30 Years' War, which, if you can't do math, was a war that lasted about 30 years. But a lot of them, yeah, they really talk about battles, and there's one song that really just gives a good overview of the entire thing and how horrible it was in general. But yeah, a pretty good album. I'd listen to it again if I hadn't listened to it 5 minutes ago, and an hour ago, and yesterday.
Yeah, so, I mean, I have listened to him a little bit before with Jacob, like when we've been in the car or when he first introduced me to them, but I'll be honest, I had not listened to them a lot. But now that I have listened to this album, I feel like they are somebody that I could probably, you know, get into and listen to, because like I said, I am a history buff, not necessarily with battles and stuff, but you know, you could take this album and probably all their other albums, and if it's something that you're studying in school in some kind of history class or something like that, you could probably ace your test, honestly.
You'd come close to acing your test,
Yeah.
but it would definitely make it more fun. A YouTuber I watch, his name's Tank the Tech. His channel's Road to Reaction, if you're curious. He does a lot of what we're doing. But he said if they played Sabaton in his school, he'd be a lot more interested in history.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think there needs to be more bands like Sabaton, honestly. And I'm sure there are lots of bands that are out there that are like them. In fact, I know there are. But I think we need more of that because, you know, a lot of times things are left out in history and things are forgotten in history, and we don't know where we came from, and we don't know the struggles that we've had and that other people have had to get where we are. And that's just for every country in general. Every country has had some kind of battle to get where they are, whether it's good or bad. Because, I mean, look at the state of America right now, guys. I mean,
not just one state, all of them.
all of them. All of the states of America. So.
I don't know, the Swiss haven't really had to fight anyone. Sorry, any Swiss people, but it seems pretty chill.
I mean, yeah, Switzerland, they're just neutral. And by the way, I would love to go to Switzerland. That's definitely on a bucket list for me. So
Yeah, they're pretty neutral. Minus the part where they invaded their neighbor 3 or 5 times on accident. True story.
Yeah. Whoops. See you
Whoops.
later.
We're gonna go now.
This is not our property.
Okay. Anyway, album. Right. Sabaton, definitely worth a listen. Really good stuff. Really, really good. Album. Really good album. Listen to it. Do it. You won't. No balls. But anyway, questions, concerns?
So they kind of sound like, I can't say that they sound exactly like Iron Maiden, but they kind of put me in mind. I guess the way the instrument-wise, the way their instruments are played, kind of puts me in mind of them. But there's really, I don't know, there's really not any bands that I can really say they compare to, honestly. It's just, you know, it's great music. It really is. It's great. There was a couple of songs when we were listening. There are 2 songs on the album that, if you listen to the album, listen to these 2 songs and how opposite they are from each other. One of them is A Lifetime of War, which is, you know, the generalization of the 30-year war, correct?
Yeah.
And it's just talking about how mainly, you know, people have lost their minds over religion and greed, yeah. And they're just going into this battle just for the sake of religion and greed. And then you have
the Carolus Prayer.
The Carolus Prayer.
Carolus.
Prayer. I'm sorry if you know that offends anybody, but you know, and it's the exact opposite. It's the Carolus Rex, right? Is who was he exactly?
He was a king of Sweden. His actual name was King Carl the 12th. He ascended to the throne at 15, and he didn't... Okay, really, when you're crowning a king in your Catholic country, the Pope would come over and put the crown on your head. But Carolus didn't do this because he thought he was, I'm doing this in quotes, chosen by God to rule the entirety of Sweden and probably the rest of the world. The dude had ambition, all right? He's like Napoleon, but less French, so.
Yeah, so he thought he was called by God. He was chosen by God to be this leader, and he basically wanted the people to bow down and worship him and basically pray to him, almost, is the way it sounds.
Yeah.
So, you know, he was all about this, let's go into battle for religion. But we're kind of getting a little bit off track and getting into the actual history of it. But, I mean, that's what goes into this album. That's what this album is. So there's really, you know, you really got to get into that and kind of give an idea on a feel of what this album, you know, is about and things like that. So, do you have any thoughts or feelings or anything like that on the album itself? How are you feeling about it? Is it something you listen to again?
I just think it's cool to, I don't know, educationally take historical battles or just wars and like break them into battles and, I don't know, help educate people through metal.
Yeah, because
that's a cool concept.
Yeah, because a lot of people think that metal music is just
Satan worship.
Yeah, just the praise Satan, and that's not what it is at all.
Worship the devil. No, listen to what people do in the name of their lords.
Yes.
That's much more hardcore.
Yes, that is. And if you aren't somebody who listens to metal, I'm not really sure why you're listening to this. But if you are, hey, hello, how are you doing?
Listen to some metal.
Yeah, let us introduce you to some metal. Now, this may not be a band that you might jump into if this is your first time listening to metal, but if you do start listening to it and you haven't before, really listen to the words to the songs. Some of these songs, of course, you might have to look the lyrics up to, because let's face it, until you've listened to some of these songs over and over and over, especially when they're screaming, you don't really know what they're saying at first. Sometimes you can make it out, sometimes you can't. And that's not a big deal. That's not an issue. That's part of metal.
It's speed puking.
Yeah. Yeah, but...
Passionate.
Yeah, it's passion.
Passion is speed puking.
So, but in general, they are a good band. They are a good metal band. They have that metal feel to them, and that historical feel, which, like TJ was saying, is awesome to bring into the metal community, because, metalheads in general get a bad rap, man. They get a bad rap. Like,
game over, man. Game over.
Yeah, they think we, drink the blood of the innocent. And
not the innocent, just the convicts. There's a difference.
Yeah. But, yeah, and that's not what it is. Metal music has a lot of passion behind it. It has a lot of feeling and emotion and, sadness, anger, happiness.
Drug addiction.
Well, let's not get into that. I mean,
yeah.
That's just part of music in general.
Yeah.
Listen, you can take any genre of music and incorporate drug addiction and alcoholism into it.
And it probably comes 10 times better.
Yeah. So, I mean, but yeah, just be sure to go out there and give Sabaton a try. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It might not be for everybody, but I'm sure it is for somebody at least. It's for us. I mean, it's definitely for Jacob. It's right up his alley.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, like I said, I can see myself listening to them some. They may not be one of my all-time favorite bands, but...
Heresy.
But I can see myself listening to them in the future. Do you think, is that something you feel? Do you think you could listen to them again, or are you just like, they're good, but nah?
Their discography is definitely worth a run through. Like, I don't know, especially like in order to kind of get like a picture of their growth and change as a band as a whole. Like, because I like kind of looking at that kind of stuff with bands.
Yeah, that is fun, because a lot of bands change over time, like starting out to where they are now, especially if they get into mainstream. That's when producers are like, no, we want you to sound like this, and then their previous audience before they were mainstream, sometimes they just kind of fall off, and they're like,
You changed, man.
Yeah, you changed. You're not the same. You changed.
It's not me. It's you.
Yeah. It's it's the exact opposite of it's not you. It's me. It's you.
It's you changed.
But there still is that respect that goes in with musicians genre wide. Whether you change your sound or not, there's still going to be that respect, because making music takes a lot of work. I have never made music. TJ has been in several bands before. He is a drummer. He's teaching me drums, and that's something that I really enjoy, but I still have a whole lot of work to do on. And Jacob, he's really into piano and guitar, and he's been self-taught a lot on guitar, and he's just working towards that as well. But that's what we're here for, is to talk about metal and talk about all things metal in general. And like I said, we will be doing reviews, or actually Jacob said we will be doing reviews, things like that. And, just general discussions in music.
Okay, we're getting way off track. We're looping back to the beginning. Album.
Yeah, but I thought, is there anything else you want to cover about this album?
Yeah, I want to talk about your favorite songs from it.
Oh, okay. Well,
we're actually reviewing the album now.
Well, yeah, I know, but I thought you were just kind of past. What's your favorite song on the album?
Well, I said it before. It's The Killing Ground. Horrible story. Like, Jesus Christ, is it brutal. But God, is that song good.
Yeah, it was a good song. And, basically saying, you're going out there and you probably won't return. So...
Well, that's kind of what they're saying, kind of not. But what they're trying to say is, during that battle, the Swedes were brutal. Like, they adopted the take no prisoners. They're just all gonna disappear. They're not gonna be alive anymore. We're gonna kill them all.
Yeah. So is that your top favorite song on that on that album?
Top favorite song, Killing Ground, followed very closely by the Carolus Prayer. I just like, not so much the message, but I don't know, I kind of like how it contrasts, like Bethany said, the Lifetime of War, which it's, oh yeah, this is bad, and then it's like, oh yeah, this is righteous, we are the good guys in this, and the song's really good too, so.
Yeah, I would say those two, the Lifetime of War, and the...
Which one?
The Killing
Ground.
Killing Ground, yeah. I'm bad with song titles, guys. Like, sometimes I'm just bad with song titles. I'll be like, it's that song that goes like this, and
Yeah.
So, but I like those. But I do like the one that contrasts the
Carolus Prayer.
The Carolus Prayer, because it is, like Jacob was saying, it is a contrast there, like
night and day.
Yeah. So when was it 2012 when this album came out?
2012.
Okay. So it's a little bit,
It's dated.
yeah, it's a little bit dated, but it's still, I mean, you know, you can still listen to it. They do have a new album coming out soon, right?
March 22nd, I think.
Yeah, I do know it's in March. I'm sure Jacob's correct on that because he
I look it up every day, trust me.
Yeah, he's a huge Sabaton fan. So, what do you know how they formed or anything?
I can hazard a guess. What I think is, because especially you can tell with Joachim, which is the lead singer, and Todd, which is the bassist, they both pretty much write all of their songs, all of the historical bits of it that come from them, because they both love history. Like, they wanted to make a band and sing about history because they love history and they love music. So they're like, hey, let's do this. And then they got some other people in, and they're like, yeah, we can do this. And then those people left, and new people came in. Then some of those people left. The new people came in. And that's where we are now.
Yeah, kind of the rotation of band members, basically.
Yeah, Potter and Joachim are the only two original members still there. And I hope they don't leave. Because...
Well, as we know, sometimes when certain members of bands leave, it is no longer...
the band.
It's no longer that band, so... But, so do they reside in Sweden?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I would definitely give this album a listen through again. And I'll probably try to check out some of their other albums because from the way it looks, they have several.
I'm actually counting. Give me a second.
Okay.
Randomizer. Prima Victoria. This one. Heroes.
Jacob's over here counting on his fingers.
It gets confusion after a bit. I think there's 5.
Okay.
5 or 6.
Yeah, so they have a good discography out there that you could listen to and go from. Do you know when they formed?
1999.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they probably have some.
They have some singles floating around too that they've just done off the cuff or they did for sponsorships. Like
Yeah.
Bismarck and Steel Commanders. Bismarck was for World of Warships and Steel Commanders was for World of Tanks. Both really good songs. Really good songs.
Okay. Yeah, so. But in general, I mean, it's a really good album. I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself.
You are definitely.
But listen.
Listen.
This is the first podcast I've ever done. This is the first episode I've ever done, and this is also the first podcast that you have ever done and that TJ has ever done. So we're new to the game. Sorry for the repetitiveness, just like any other show.
That's not my first one. It's my second one.
Yeah, it's his second one, but
we don't talk about that.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. But anyway,
we didn't ask what TJ's favorite song was.
Oh, I'm bad with song titles as well.
there were so many that, well, there were 11 songs, and like I said, this was the first time that we had actually listened to the album.
You've had a week.
I know, but work, you know. Work.
It's a 40-minute album.
But it's a good one.
Yeah, I can't think of any songs.
TJ can't remember any of the songs.
I can't remember any of the songs.
I can't either. I will be honest. The only reason I remember those two that I mentioned is because I topped them. I topped them out.
She's got a cheat sheet.
Yeah, I have a cheat sheet. I mean, you can ask me the name of some of the songs of some of my favorite bands, and like while I'm listening to it, you could say, "What's the name of the song?"
The one that goes like this.
Not sure. Let me look. So, I mean, I'm bad with song titles as well. But is there anything else you want to mention about this album?
Oh God, so much, but I don't know how to put it in words. It's a really good album, like really good. I can't say that enough. 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
I don't give 10 out of 10s. That's just my rule. Most of the songs are like really good. They're some of my favorite Sabaton songs. I remember before I listened to this album, I was like, oh yeah, everybody just makes a big deal out of this one. It's because it's one of their first. It's because, you know, their original sound. But no, like after I listened to it, like, this is one of my favorite albums now. Like, they have a lot of good stuff, but this is honestly some of the best. Great War is good, but this one's better.
Yeah. Well, as far as 10 out of 10 goes, for me, I think, I mean, it is a good album, but in general, just, you know, if it was a list of, you know, compared to the bands that I listen to a lot that I would give a 10 out of 10, I would probably give this album, maybe a 7 out of 10, just in comparison to some of the other albums I listen to. But the way it's constructed and the message of the album in general, it gets you to the point. So I'm like Jacob, I give it a 9 out of 10 as far as the album itself goes.
I'll probably have to go, it's like 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
I do like the whole concept aspect of it. Like taking wars and breaking them down into educational battle songs, kind of.
Yeah, so
one more thing.
One more thing before we...
One more thing, because I forgot to mention this earlier. Fun fact. On their album, Primo Victoria, their last song on that album, I think it's... I don't remember what it's called. It's the last song, though. Because... I know it's the last song, because Joachim, the lead singer, said while they were recording, he didn't finish that song. So he went to the bathroom and wrote it down on toilet paper. And then came out and recorded it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, which album is this?
Primo Victoria.
Okay, Primo Victoria. Not the one we listened to, but a different album. But that's... I mean, were you going to say something else?
Go listen to that album. Do it.
Yes, go check them out. Go check out Sabaton. Let us know how you feel. You know, reach out to us through all the ways that you can contact us. Let us know what your thoughts are. If you have any suggestions, like I said, if there's anything that you want to hear, if you are somebody who has been doing podcasting or YouTubing or anything like that, and you have some pointers, you know, bring it to us.
We need them.
Bring it to us, yeah. And just let us know how you feel about this album, if you've listened to it, or if you've already known Sabaton for a long time, and you've been a huge fan, or you're just now getting into them. Whatever it may be, give us some feedback. Give us some feedback. Give us some feedback and leave us a review as well. You know, this is a new show. We're trying to get out there. So hopefully, where the dog was barking earlier, his name is Malcolm, by the way. We have Malcolm, then we have 4 cats that are Daryl, Vinny, Jinxie, and Catamir, and we have 2 bearded dragons by the name of Toothless and Max. So
they're all on opium, crack, and cocaine.
No, that is not true.
Yes, it is.
We do not drug our animals. They are just
minus the nips.
Yeah, minus the catnip. They are just silly in their own ways. They all have their own personalities. But anyway, this is not a show about animals.
or abuse.
But we love our animals, so we're just going to give them a shout out. But yeah, when Malcolm was barking downstairs, hopefully we can go down there in just a little bit and see a package on the front porch, and hopefully it is our recording equipment. And if it is, sorry guys, you're just going to have to deal with this the way it is, because I'm sorry, but we're not going to do this one over.
And hopefully it's not a bomb in a box.
Yeah. Yes, that would be great too. So once again, you can follow us at Twitter at AHM Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at AHM Podcast. You can follow us on Facebook at All Hail Metal. And you can send us an email at allhailmetalpodcast@gmail.com. We will have a website coming out soon. And also, I keep forgetting to add the YouTube in there. YouTube is All Hail Metal. And like I said on that one, we won't actually have video of ourselves, but we will do that eventually once we get the proper equipment, proper lighting, proper, setup and everything like that. But for now, it will just be audio. So just go out there, spread the word, tell your friends, hey, give them a listen. The first episode might bore you to death. That Bethany chick, she really repeated herself, and we'll get better. And
Jacob hates Missourians.
And Jacob hates Missourians. And TJ and Bethany both are terrible with song titles. So anyway, that's the show for today, and we will see you next Monday, where we are going to bring you another band. Not going to give any well, I'll give some spoilers. I'm not going to say who it is, but if you like goblins,
it rhymes with Breco Brabopon.
If you like goblins, you're going to want to check this band out. This is a band that Jacob really has to review, because he has not really heard them. He's heard them in the car with me and with TJ and, in the house and stuff, but he hasn't really listened to them. So, yeah, be sure to tune in next Monday for our next episode.
Thanks for watching, and remember, stay heavy.
Yeah. Stay heavy. You're not watching, you're listening. But
hey, you get to make mistakes, so do I.
Exactly. Thanks for watching, guys.
And if you're on YouTube, you are watching.
Yeah, you just see a logo. But anyway, seriously, thanks for listening, and tune in next Monday, and we will see you then. Stay heavy.